Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars and welcome to another of my classic film reviews, and today is for the 2007 horror film The Mist, Stephen King's The Mist. Now this is a film that was written for the screen and directed by Frank Darabont, who has obviously directed previous Stephen King novels like The Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile. Personally, I think two of the best Stephen King adaptations. And with us in 2007, he delivered this, The Mist. Now, this is a film that I saw once, many years ago when it first came out, and the ending upset me so much that I couldn't bring myself to watch it again. My son was very young at the time, and it upset me a little bit, the ending. And if you haven't seen the film, I won't spoil the ending of this film for you, but it is a absolutely jaw-dropping moment, the ending of this film. I've just recently watched it again with my wife, who had never seen the film, just to prepare for this review, and I've got to say I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed this film. And it is a film that focuses on a small American town that is one morning after a terrible storm the night before, this mist descends upon the town, and within this mist are other dimension type creatures that, you know, don't take kindly to meeting us and take us out one at a time. Anybody that is in the mist is basically in danger, and there are a group of them hidden in the local supermarket trying to hold up and stay alive. But the threat from within that supermarket could eventually turn out to be bigger than the threat outside in the mist. Now this is a film that's got a pretty decent cast here. You've got Thomas Jane, you've got Marcia Gay Harden, Laurie Holden, Toby Jones, William Sadler, and a lot of other faces you will recognise, certainly from the Frank Darabont Stephen King films, especially William Sadler and Jeffrey DeMunn, who've been in pretty much all of them, I do believe. Certainly Shawshank and Green Mile, yes, they were in both of them. So they've been in all three of his films, so the actors in this film. And this, I think, is one of the best Stephen King adaptations. I mean, Frank Darabont just knows how to adapt Stephen King books. Every single one of them in their own right have been absolutely brilliant, and you can list them however you want as to which is the best. I'm actually considering doing a top 10 list of my favourite Stephen King adaptations on screen, and I think it's a fair safe bet that all three of these would probably make the top 10 list, and the order in which they ended up on there is up for debate, I suppose. But this is a really effective horror film. It's effective on two levels. It's effective of this fear of the unknown in the mist and what creatures are actually out there, and the level of escalation that they have to deal with in regards to trying to stay alive from these creatures in the mist. But the other threat is themselves, these factions that start developing within the supermarket, especially from the preacher woman, Miss Kamade, who is a devout believer in God, and she starts preaching to them all. And then obviously as the fear and anxiety levels in these people rise, some turn to her for comfort, and however she you know, the threat from them by the end is very fierce indeed. So the threat is on the outside of the supermarket and on the inside, and you really feel like you're never allowed really to relax in this film. You never feel relaxed watching this film. There's always a threat either outside or inside, and it works off that brilliantly. It shows the power of the human spirit as well, and how people do pull together in times of crisis. But also it shows those that don't, and those that push back, and the worst sides of humanity come out in situations like this as well. And it balances both sides. So it works on every level, this film. I think the film as well is dated particularly well. There are a couple of dodgy effects, especially the tentacles in, you know, the scene when they're coming through the metal shutters. I thought that it looked a little bit dodgy at times, and a couple of other bits and pieces looked a little bit dated, but for the most part I think the effects have dated really well. I mean, it's only 2007, you know, but Thankfully they didn't use full-on CGI for everything. There are some practical effects, and that really helps the film. There's lovely little snippets and cameos of all sorts of Stephen King films. The Thomas Jane character is a artist, so you see him at the beginning painting posters of he's doing a current poster, and that's from The Dark Tower, and you can see other posters from other classic horror films that he's supposedly done. I thought that was a really nice touch. And you see the Castle Rock newspaper. I think it is, I might be wrong, but I think it is the town itself, Castle Rock. I'm not sure, but there's someone reading like a Castle Rock newspaper again, which is a big Easter egg for Stephen King. So there are Easter eggs all over the film. Brilliant performances by everybody. They really chose well with the actors they chose to play these characters. Thomas Jane, I've always felt has been underrated as a leading man. He's never really made it as a leading man. He's made a few attempts with films like this and The Punisher and things like that, and they never really took off to the point where it projected him into leading man status. But I always felt he had the potential to be a really strong leading man, Thomas Jane, and I do think his performance here, but this father trying desperately to get back to his wife and protect his son, keep him alive, trying to make these right decisions to keep him and other people alive. A really brilliant performance, and especially his performance at the end is just heartbreaking. So I think this is a very good horror film. It's a brilliant Stephen King adaptation. I'm giving it a very strong 9 out of 10. It's really good if you haven't seen it. I know they did do the TV show a couple of years ago, which I did review the first couple of episodes I think on the channel, but then it was fairly clear it wasn't going in the direction that I wanted it to, so I stopped because I knew I was probably going to be disappointed with it. But I might well pick it up by the end. I might well pick up the TV show again at some point. So definitely strong 9 out of 10. It's a fantastic classic film, and one I certainly recommend checking out if you haven't seen it. That's The Mist. So thanks very much for watching, everybody. If you would like to see a top 10 list of my Stephen King adaptations, what I think are the best Stephen King adaptations, let me know, and it's something I'll consider doing. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you back for more reviews on Screen Stars very soon.